All right, what if you could have a full Kali Linux hacking environment and your familiar Windows setup on the same computer and choose between them every single time you boot? No virtual machines, no compromises on performance, no giving up either system. That's exactly what dual booting gives you. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the entire setup from scratch. Welcome back. Today we're setting up a dual boot configuration with Kali Linux and Windows 10 or 11 on the same machine. Every time you start your PC, a boot menu will appear, letting you choose which operating system to load. Windows for your everyday tasks, Kali Linux for ethical hacking, cybersecurity practice, and penetration testing. Before we go any further, a quick but important note. Kali Linux is a professional security tool designed for ethical hacking, network analysis, and cybersecurity research. Use it only on systems and networks you own or have explicit written permission to test. Now let's get into it. Open your browser and search for Download Kali Linux. The official website is kali.org. Only download from there. Never use third-party sites for a security-focused operating system. The integrity of the download matters. On the official site, navigate to the Installer Images section. You'll see several ISO options. For a dual boot installation, you want the standard installer ISO, the 64-bit version. Click to download it. The file is around 4 gigabytes, so depending on your connection speed, this will take several minutes. While it downloads, let's grab our second tool. Open a new tab and search for Rufus. The official site is rufus.ie. Scroll down to the Download section and grab the latest standard version. Rufus is a tiny file, under 2 megabytes, so it downloads instantly. Now, wait for the Kali Linux ISO to finish downloading before moving on. Both files need to be ready before the next step. Before we create the bootable USB, we need to temporarily disable Windows Defender. Here's why, and this is important to understand. Kali Linux's bootloader files contain security testing tools and specific system components that Windows Defender sometimes flags as threats. They are not threats. This is a false positive. Defender is reacting to the nature of Kali's security tools rather than actual malicious behavior. If Defender is active during the USB creation process, it may quarantine or delete critical bootloader files, causing the installation to fail. To disable it temporarily, search for Windows Security in the Start menu. Open it, click Virus and Threat Protection, then Manage Settings. Toggle off Real-Time Protection. Create the bootable USB, which we'll do in the next step, and then come straight back here and toggle Real-Time Protection back on. This should be off for no more than 10 to 20 minutes. Plug your USB drive into your computer. Open Rufus by double-clicking it and clicking Yes on the permission prompt. At the top, under Device, confirm your USB drive is selected. Be absolutely certain you're writing to the USB drive and not another storage device. Everything on the selected drive will be erased. Under Boot Selection, click Select and navigate to your downloaded Kali Linux ISO file. Select it and click Open. Rufus will automatically configure the appropriate settings. Click Start. Rufus may ask to download additional files for the ISO. Confirm that download. Then confirm the warning that the USB drive will be formatted. The process takes about 10 minutes. When the status bar shows Ready in green, your Kali Linux bootable USB is complete. Close Rufus. Before we touch the disk partitions, check whether BitLocker is enabled on your Windows drive. BitLocker is Windows' built-in drive encryption feature. If it's active during Kali's installation, it can interfere with the bootloader setup and cause problems accessing your Windows partition afterward. Search for Control Panel in the Start menu and open it. Go to System and Security, then BitLocker Drive Encryption. Look at your C drive, the main Windows drive. If it says BitLocker off, you're good to go. Move to the next step. If it says BitLocker on, click Turn off BitLocker and wait for the decryption process to complete. Depending on your drive size, this can take anywhere from a few minutes to an hour. Don't skip this. An encrypted drive and a new bootloader is a combination that causes real problems. You can re-enable BitLocker after Kali is fully installed if you want it back. Now we need to carve out space on your hard drive for Kali Linux. Right-click the Start button and select Disk Management. You'll see a visual map of all the drives and partitions on your system. Find your main Windows partition, the large C drive entry. Right-click it and select Shrink Volume. Windows will calculate available shrink space. In the Enter the amount of space to shrink in megabytes field, type at least 30,720. That's 30 gigabytes converted to megabytes. For a more comfortable Kali installation, with room for tools and files, 50 gigabytes or more is better if your drive allows it. Multiply your desired gigabyte amount by 1024 to get the megabyte value. Click Shrink. After 30 seconds to 2 minutes, a new block labeled Unallocated will appear on your drive map. Critical instruction: do not format this space, do not assign it a drive letter, and do not touch it further. Leave it exactly as unallocated space. Kali's installer will handle it from here. We need to make one more change before booting from the USB: disabling Secure Boot in your BIOS. Secure Boot is a security feature that prevents unauthorized operating systems from loading during startup. It's a good feature in general, but it blocks Kali's GRUB bootloader from installing correctly. Once inside the BIOS, navigate to the Security or Boot section and find Secure Boot. Set it to Disabled. Then find Save and Exit, usually F10, and confirm. With Secure Boot disabled and your USB plugged in, it's time to boot from it. The cleanest method on Windows: go to Settings, then System, then Recovery. Under Advanced Startup, click Restart Now. When the blue menu appears, click Use a Device. Look for your USB drive in the list. It may show as USB device, the brand name of your drive, or the Kali Linux label Rufus gave it. Click on it. Your system will restart and begin loading from the USB. Make sure only one USB drive is connected to avoid selecting the wrong device. Once the system boots from the USB, a menu will appear with several options. Use the arrow keys to select Graphical Install and press Enter. This gives you a user-friendly visual interface for the installation process. The installer will take 1 to 3 minutes to load. When it opens, select your language and click Continue. Then select your country for time zone and locale settings. Then configure your keyboard layout. Click Continue. The installer will attempt to detect your network connection. Both wired Ethernet and Wi-Fi adapters are usually detected automatically. Next, enter a host name for your Kali system. This is the name that identifies your machine on the network. You can use anything you like: Kali, your username, whatever makes sense to you. Click Continue. Leave the domain name field empty unless you're on a corporate network with a specific domain. Click Continue. Now create your username and password. This is the account you'll use to log in to Kali Linux. Choose a strong password and do not forget it. You'll need it for every login and every administrative operation in Kali. This is the most important part of the entire installation. Follow these steps exactly. When asked for the partitioning method, select Manual. This ensures we use only the unallocated space we created in Windows and nothing else. You'll see a list of all disks and partitions on your system. Look carefully through the list and find the free space entry. It should show approximately the size you shrank from your Windows partition. This is the only thing you should interact with. Do not touch any existing partitions. Do not modify anything labeled Windows, NTFS, or any partition you didn't specifically create for this installation. Click on the free space entry, then click Continue. Select Automatically Partition the available free space and click Continue. Then select All Files in one partition. This is the recommended option for most users and certainly for beginners. Click Continue. You'll be shown a summary of what's about to be written to disk. Review it and confirm there are no unexpected changes to existing partitions. When you're satisfied, select Finish Partitioning and Write Changes to Disk and click Continue. Confirm Yes when asked to write the changes. The installer will now copy the base system files. Once that finishes, you'll be asked to select which software packages and desktop environment to install. Kali offers several desktop environments. If you're unsure which to choose, select XFCE. It's Kali's default for a reason. It's lightweight, fast, performs well on most hardware, and is the environment you'll see in most Kali tutorials and documentation. It's the safest choice for a first installation. Keep the other default selections as they are. They include Kali's core toolkit of security and penetration testing tools. Click Continue. Keep the default GDM3 display manager and click Continue. The installer will now begin downloading and configuring packages. This is the longest part of the process, typically 10 to 20 minutes depending on your internet speed and hardware. Do not interrupt it. Let it run completely. When the installation completes, a prompt will appear asking you to remove the installation media. Pull out your USB drive and click Continue. Your computer will restart. As your PC restarts, watch for the GRUB boot menu, a text menu showing your operating system options. This is your dual boot menu. You'll see Kali Linux at the top and Windows Boot Manager further down the list. Use the arrow keys to select Kali Linux and press Enter. The system will boot into Kali for the first time and present you with the login screen. Enter the username and password you created during installation and press Enter. Welcome to your Kali Linux desktop. Your dual boot setup is working. Now let's confirm Windows is still perfectly intact. Restart the system from Kali's menu. When GRUB appears again, select Windows Boot Manager and press Enter. Windows will load exactly as it was, all your files, programs, and settings completely untouched. Both systems are running correctly on the same machine. And that's the complete dual boot setup. Kali Linux and Windows 10 or 11, both fully operational on the same PC, selectable every time you start your computer. One final reminder before you start exploring Kali. Use these tools responsibly. Ethical hacking means testing only what you own or have explicit permission to test. Platforms like HackTheBox and TryHackMe exist specifically for legal, structured practice. I highly recommend starting there. If you ran into any issues at any point, BIOS access, partition setup, GRUB not appearing, drop the details in the comments and I'll help you troubleshoot. A like and a subscribe helps the channel grow, and I put out practical tech tutorials like this every day. Thanks for watching.